to the University Credit Union Center. Please take a moment to locate the exit nearest to you. In the unlikely event of a fire alarm or other emergency, please leave through that exit. Out of courtesy to the graduates, please silence all cellular phones, and please note that there are designated photo areas located in the east and west press boxes. Thank you for coming and enjoy the ceremony.
You're so close.
Can you feel it?
Do you believe it?
That moment you've been waiting for, working for.
Lines scribbled and miles biked.
Equations balanced and essays typed.
Laundry and dishes done. Eventually. You questioned.
You answered.
Traversing an endless sea of coffee cups and Scantron bubbles.
Marking a quantum of study hours that before you thought was purely theoretical.
After all that, now you're about to graduate. Do you remember your first day? What it was like starting out? You did not know what you were getting into. But you said your goodbyes, you came ready for anything, and created a space for yourself. Amid new surroundings, new people,
New ways of thinking.
of seeing,
Of being.
You buckled down, made friends, laid in the sun next to oversized eggheads. You circumscribed campus on double-decker buses.
And along the way, found out what personal growth is.
At times you had doubts, maybe tempted to quit.
but with each struggle, you grew stronger.
With each setback, you grew more determined.
With each success, you grew confident.
Then came the ultimate test.
The coronavirus turned everything upside down and remote.
And yet, Aggies did what Aggies do in tough situations.
We persevere.
We look for solutions.
We take care of one another.
This is your world now. It's changed a lot in the time that you've been here. How will you change it?
How will you apply what you've learned here, out there?
You have so much ahead of you.
This is just the beginning of your journey.
Go forth,
Grow forth.
wherever life takes you, or wherever you take life.
May you find yourself always outgrowing expectations.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 Commencement Convocation for Graduate Studies at the University of California, Davis is convened. Will Anushka Kulkarni please come forward to sing the national anthem? Will the audience please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Will the audience please be seated? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present Jean-Pierre Delplanque, Vice Provost and Dean of Graduate Studies and Professor of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering.
Graduate, friends, and family members, it is such a pleasure to welcome all of you today to celebrate and applaud the achievements of our 2020 master's and doctorate degree recipients. Commencement is always a special occasion at UC Davis, However, today is especially joyous and notable for our community, as it marks our first formal, entirely in-person graduate studies commencement ceremony in over 2 years. I am profoundly honored to congratulate our master's and doctoral graduates today. I admire that you have accomplished in earning your graduate degrees. While I know we all would have preferred to mark your accomplishments with a commencement ceremony when you completed your degree, I am deeply grateful that you've returned to UC Davis to celebrate alongside faculty, staff, and fellow graduates, and in the presence of your family and friends. It is always a privilege to witness our graduates crossing the ceremonial finish line. However, today we recognize the academic achievements of our honored graduates and their accomplishments in the face of the added uncertainty of the past 2 years. Today is a day of joy and celebration, but we would be remiss not to acknowledge the loss we experienced as individuals and as a community. The ongoing pandemic has stolen precious moments, interactions, and loved ones. Many of you did not get the opportunity to present your thesis or dissertation to a room full of mentors and colleagues, or the chance to mark completion of your graduate studies by ringing the bell at the Graduate Center. In light of the hardship of these past 2 years, today's ceremony is one like no other. We honor not only your academic accomplishments as scholars, but your fortitude and resilience and determination as human beings. We acknowledge the support lent not only by the friends and family by your side today, but also from loved ones who cannot be with us. I also want to acknowledge that today's graduates have already embarked on their new professional and personal ventures. Many of you have gone on to careers in academia, industry, government, nonprofit organizations. While we're celebrating the end of one chapter of your life, another has already begun. I hope today provides you with the opportunity to reconnect with your fellow students, as well as mentors and other members of the campus community. I have no doubt that you will continue to contribute to the social good and endeavor to drive it passionately, in the same way that you have pursued your graduate education. We are honored and humbled that you chose UC Davis as your home for graduate education. And know that no matter where you go, whatever new heights you reach, whatever discoveries you pioneer, you can always count on UC Davis to be your home. Thank you. The Graduate Council is charged by the Academic Senate with the responsibility to assure excellence in all academic graduate programs. It is under the auspices of the Graduate Council that this ceremony is held. I have members of the UC Davis leadership here with me on stage today. The name of these individuals are shown on the screens above the stage. I ask the entire stage party to stand together to be recognized. Thank you for taking part in today's ceremony. You can be seated. I now will ask all faculty present to please rise. I am pleased to present to you at this time the faculty members participating in commencement this afternoon. We thank you for your many contributions to graduate education. Your devotion to teaching and mentoring enables graduate students to succeed. Will the faculty please be seated? Now I would like to introduce Chancellor Gary May. Chancellor May is a highly engaged leader with a passion for helping others succeed. He believes success is best judged by how we enhance the lives of others. Throughout his career, he's championed diversity, equity, and inclusion in both higher education and in the workplace, especially in the STEM fields of science, technology, engineering, and math. In 2015, President Obama honored him with the Presidential Award for Excellence in STEM Mentoring. In 2021, he received the Lifetime Mentor Award from the American Association for the Advancement of Science for demonstrating extraordinary leadership to increase participation of underrepresented groups in the fields of science and engineering. Chancellor May was induced to the National Academy of Engineering in September 2018 and the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in April 2020. Chancellor May believes in the positive impact academia and industry have when they partner for the common good. He launched Aggie Square in April 2018 to spur economic growth in Sacramento and help create jobs at a variety of educational levels. A prominent voice in higher education, Chancellor May is a member of the Boyer 2040 Commission, which was created by the Association for Undergraduate Education at Research Universities to design a blueprint for excellence and equity in undergraduate education at US research universities. He also serves as vice chair of the Universities Research Association's Council of Presidents and sits on the executive committee of the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities Board of Directors. He's a board member of the American Council on Education, a member of the Task Force on Higher Education and Opportunity, and a commissioner of the National Council of Competitiveness. He also serves on the advisory board for the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. His vision as UC Davis' seventh chancellor is to lead the university to new heights in academic excellence, inclusion, public service, and upward mobility for students from all backgrounds. Chancellor May previously served as Dean of Georgia Tech's College of Engineering, the largest and most diverse school of its kind in the nation. He earned his master's and PhD degrees in electrical engineering and computer science at UC Berkeley. He's won numerous awards for his research in computer-aided manufacturing of integrated circuits. He traces his interest in engineering back to his childhood Legos and Erector sets, along with Star Trek and science fiction heroes like Iron Man. He lives in Davis with his wife, Lachelle, a software engineer for CNN. Please welcome Chancellor Gary May.
Thank you, JP. Good afternoon, everyone. UC Davis graduating class of 2020. I promise you we wouldn't forget you. We've been waiting a long time for this moment, and I can't tell you how good it feels to be in this building with you. On that note, let's welcome the distinguished members of the stage party, plus our faculty, staff, families, friends here today. You can clap for them. They deserve it. To our 2020 graduates, your day has finally arrived. Thank you, Aggies, for coming back to UC Davis for the commencement ceremony you so greatly deserved. I'm truly honored to welcome you back to your alma mater. Today is all about celebrating you and all that you've accomplished. It's a great day, and not just because of the musical strains of Pomp and Circumstance and all the cheers that make today feel so special. I'm excited for a different reason. I'm excited for where you will go from here, for who you will become, and how you will make your mark on the world. The class of 2020 will go down in history. You graduated during some of the most challenging times ever. I don't need to remind you of all the sacrifices, all the lost sleep, the stresses of exams and essays, the thesis writing that you endured on this journey. As it turned out, that was the easy part. You studied hard, you put in the work necessary to earn a graduate degree from UC Davis, the fourth best public university in the country, by the way. You can clap for that too, yeah. And 21 months ago, you were so close. You were looking forward to commencement, and then the world turned upside down. Just as you were heading into finals week, the university announced that in-person finals were canceled. Then you learned that all courses would be remote for your final quarter at UC Davis. But you took it in stride. You persevered. Instead of celebrating commencement with family and friends, you found yourselves sheltering in place. Still, you took it in stride. You had to sacrifice and adapt more than any other graduating class. And through it all, you persevered. You weren't going to let anything, not even a global pandemic, slow you down or sideline your dreams. Adversity can be a powerful force. It makes us stronger. It demands more from us and calls us to rise to the challenge. Adversity can help us become the people we were meant to be. Some say that adversity is preparation for greatness. Well, class of 2020, you are well prepared. And I'm expecting great things from you. Graduate class of 2020, you give us faith that a better tomorrow is possible. You are the innovators, the researchers, the scientists, the artists, the leaders, and the visionaries of tomorrow. The world needs you, and you have so much to offer. Today, we celebrate 2020 graduates from all across UC Davis. All 4 of our colleges and epidemiology students from the School of Veterinary Medicine are coming together as one, just like the Justice League. First, let's hear it for the graduates from the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. Your education wasn't just about the science and the economics of food, crops, trees, or landscaping. It was more broadly, and just as importantly, about the interface between all living things, people, and the environment. You are the ones who will find ways to feed a rapidly growing planet. You will look after the well-being of animals, fish, and insects. You will address the effects of climate change as the world's population continues to grow. We're counting on you to help lead this advance to support the health of the planet and all of its inhabitants. Next, let's recognize the graduates of the College of Letters and Science. You represent the most diverse community of majors at a single UC Davis college. We have mathematicians, we have wordsmiths who study classical literature, future geologists, psychologists, and much, much more. You are the teachers and educators who will pass along knowledge and enlightenment to generations of students. You are the scientists who will help us better understand our world and help develop technologies that will shape a better tomorrow. You are the writers, actors, and dancers who will bring forth truth and beauty to the world through self-expression. Keep asking the hard questions and offering novel solutions, and embrace your responsibility to lead. Next, let's give it up for the College of Biological Sciences. Now, biological sciences graduates are a curious bunch. You ask a lot of questions. You want to know what makes things tick, whether it's plants or animals or people in the tiniest or the tiniest of organisms, or cells, or molecules. Your knowledge of life from its smallest cellular levels to entire ecosystems holds tremendous power. Biological research will help us find cures for cancer, AIDS, Alzheimer's, and many other health challenges. Whether you studied ecology or genetics or molecular biology, your knowledge of life's scientific processes will help us find breakthroughs in feeding the world and preventing future pandemics. Keep this fascination with the mysteries of life close to you always. Our world would be better for it. And now let's hear it for the College of Engineering. I love all my students equally, even though you're my favorites. You know the ins and outs of circuit boards, magnetic materials, computing, and much more. You like to create and innovate. You want to build something that will outlast us all. And I'm not just talking about bridges, buildings, and dams. Your skills are critical in this digital age, as the pace of technological development seems to move at light speed. Consumer technologies that entertain us are great, but I'm asking you to use your knowledge and skills to help shape a brighter, healthier tomorrow. You have the power to build technologies that buffer the effects of climate change, technologies that liberate people from poverty, illness, and suffering. So show the world what you've got and help make it a better place. And finally, let's hear it for the epidemiology graduates from the School of Veterinary Medicine. You are the reason why UC Davis is a world leader in this field, and how fortunate we are to benefit from your expertise. Your work helps us bridge between human and animal medicine. You participate in community outreach and keep the health of the environment at the top of mind. Your love of animals and living beings is a tremendous gift to us all. You are set to become leaders in veterinary medicine and make discoveries that will benefit our world. You are Aggies and will continue to make us proud. Now let me wrap up with just a few thoughts for our graduates. UC Davis prepared you well. You've been empowered to find success in a global economy that's driven by innovation, flexibility, and diversity. You will all thrive in a wide variety of careers, but each of you has one thing in common. You graduated from a world-class university that fully embraces intellectual curiosity. Years from now, when you look back on your UC Davis experience, I hope you'll remember three things. First, you are not alone. You're an Aggie. You're part of an incredible community with more than 280,000 members spanning the globe. I hope you'll always stay connected with us. Join the Alumni Association and take advantage of discounts, career development workshops, and social events to connect with fellow Aggies. I also encourage you to volunteer to mentor current and future students. You have great expertise to share. Second, with a little imagination and collaboration and concerted effort, you can change the world. When you came to UC Davis, you joined a campus community that works to make the world better. You learned that the most comprehensive solutions come from the most diverse minds working together. You learned how to outgrow what's expected, to exceed what's asked, and to do what's right and just. That's the Aggie way. You are the newest chapter in a story that stretches more than a century, one that's filled with excellence, innovation, and a flair for outgrowing expectations. As a UC Davis graduate, you have an excellent foundation of skills and knowledge to accomplish anything you set out to do. Third, everyone has their own unique superpowers. Continue to use yours for good. The graduate school experience is defined as much by what is learned beyond the textbook and the classroom and the laboratory as it is by academics. At UC Davis, you learn what it means to be part of a community that cares. You learned about and practiced cultural humility and inclusiveness. And you developed critical thinking skills that will serve you well no matter where you go from here. I hope you'll keep the Aggie spirit and heart and spirit with you always. Keep learning, keep striving to help others, and keep working to make this world a better place. The future is yours. You've already demonstrated that. You're tenacious and you're resilient. And like I said earlier, if adversity is preparation for greatness, no one is better prepared than you. Whatever path you're pursuing now and whatever goals you have planned for the future, knock it out of the park. Make it great. Congratulations, Graduate Studies Class of 2020.
Thank you, Chancellor May. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our 2021 Graduate Studies Commencement speaker, Dr. Jeffrey Giebling. Jeffrey Giebling recently retired from the Department of Material Science and Engineering, where he served as chair from December 1st, 2016 through June 30, 2020. His teaching and research interests are in the area of mechanical behavior of materials. He's nationally and internationally recognized for developing new techniques for high-precision measurements of the mechanical response of materials applied to applied stresses to better understand the fundamental atomic level processes controlling their deformations. From 2002 to 2016, Professor Giebling served as Vice Provost of Graduate Education and Dean of Graduate Studies at UC Davis, where he was responsible for the administration of 90 graduate degree programs. That sounds like a tough job. In these roles, he provided national and international leadership for graduate education issues. He also demonstrated a deep commitment to increasing the diversity of the graduate population at UC Davis. Under Dean Giebling's leadership, the Office of Graduate Studies developed a comprehensive professional development program now called Grad Pathways Institute to ensure that graduate students complete their degrees and are prepared for a successful career. He also devoted significant attention to the needs of postdoctoral scholars and established an award for excellence in postdoctoral research. Professor Giebling began his career at UC Davis in 1994 as an assistant professor of materials science and engineering. He holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and a master's degree and PhD in materials science and engineering, all from Stanford University. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jeffrey Giebling.
Thank you very much, JP, for that very kind introduction. Well, good afternoon. I'm really delighted to join you at this fall 2021 Graduate Studies Commencement here at UC Davis. Now, I've probably been at 100 or so commencements over the years, and I always enjoy these ceremonies as we celebrate the outstanding accomplishments of our graduate students. After so many years of serving as Dean of Graduate Studies, the position now held by Dean Del Planck, it's a special honor for me to be here as the commencement speaker. For one thing, I don't have any time limit for my remarks, right? No? Oh, okay. Well then, let me start by thanking the families and friends who have demonstrated their continuing commitment, support, and love to the graduating students. Your presence in their lives has been especially important over the past 2 years, as we've all dealt with a multitude of disruptions, from increased attention to the impact of social injustice, to assaults on our form of democratic government, to continuing attacks on the social fabric of our country and the world, and to the seemingly unending pandemic that has impacted all of us. But here we are. No, here you are, at both the finish line and the start line. Now, today's ceremony marks an important educational milestone for each of you. You've devoted years to intense study, research, and creative scholarship in your respective fields. I know it seemed like it would never end. In fact, when I was working on my PhD, one of my father's favorite jokes was a question posed by one person to another. What's your son going to be when he earns his graduate degree? Answer, an old man. My father thought that was very funny. But without diving into the dynamics of my relationship with my father, I will admit it did nudge me along a little bit to avoid being the embodiment of that joke. Earning a graduate degree has always been an extraordinary accomplishment. Only about 10% of our population earns an advanced degree of any kind, and only about 1% earns a PhD. But most of you here today have reached this goal in truly extraordinary times. Was it hard? Of course it was. Graduate school is always hard. Fortunately, admission to graduate school is based on a holistic review of applicants that considers such non-cognitive factors as perseverance, resourcefulness, creativity, and resilience. And all of these qualities have served you very well during these unsettled times. Of course, there are some things that you missed during the pandemic. You all have personal stories of the activities you had to forego, the friends and colleagues you can only see remotely, the disruption to your research plans and your ability to access your research activities in laboratories. The list goes on and on. But through that resilience and creativity, you found new ways of doing things and interacting with people that will ultimately lead to positive changes. Now, one thing that you missed while you were a student, either because it hadn't been finished yet or because the pandemic limited access, is the new Graduate Center in Walker Hall. This Graduate Center was many years in the planning, beginning when I served as dean, and is now the hub of graduate student life on our campus for academic activities, professional development, support services, and social activities through graduate studies and the Graduate Student Association. I hope you've all had or will take a moment to go see it and appreciate how we've sustainably brought new purpose to an 85-year-old building. It truly sets UC Davis apart as an institution that cares deeply about graduate students and graduate education. And even as alumni, it's still your graduate center, and I hope you'll visit when you're on campus, perhaps chat with some current students there about the pathways that you've followed in your careers. Now, a commencement speech wouldn't be whole without some advice for the newly minted graduates. Often it's woven into some illustrative story, but I'm going to give it straight up. Remember, I'm an engineer. Stereotypes sometimes hold true. Actually, it's not so much advice as sharing the strategy that served me well throughout my professional life. From a summer job at an entertainment park in San Diego to my career as a professor and academic leader. You may have heard the expression, chance favors only the prepared mind, which is attributed to Louis Pasteur, and generally understood to mean that creative insight is the result of preparing the mind for it. Now, I've shaped my career in a slightly different way, but somewhat similarly. This way is a little bit more intentional. My guiding principle is to create your own opportunities. Now, that may sound like a bit of an oxymoron, since we tend to think of opportunities as external events that are presented to us. But they can be created by preparing yourselves, engaging in a broad range of professional activities, developing a wide professional network, and volunteering for activities that may not immediately help you achieve your career goals. As a corollary, I should add that I have not tried to follow a linear career path with a clearly defined end goal, but the opportunities I've created for myself have led to a rich and rewarding career with a multitude of interesting and enriching experiences. Now you've taken the first step. You've prepared yourselves by earning graduate degrees. Whether you follow a pathway in academia, industry, government or non-government organizations, for-profit or not-profits, your self-satisfaction will be deeper and your impact will be broader by creating opportunities throughout your career. Let me again offer my sincere congratulations and very best wishes to all graduate degree recipients. You are very well prepared to do good and do well in the world, creating opportunities that will enrich your own lives, enhance the lives of those around you, and contribute to creating a just, caring, and sustainable world. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Gibling.
Certificates of completion of graduate curricula and the degrees conferred by the University of California attest to the scholastic achievement of the recipients. On behalf of the Academic Senate, I am pleased to recommend awarding of the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Advanced Study, Master of Public Health, Master of Fine Arts, Doctor of Education, and Doctor of Philosophy to those who have completed the degree requirements.
Will only the candidates for the degrees Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy please rise and remain standing while the degrees are conferred. The doctoral degrees are awarded to those who have successfully completed a rigorous course of study and have made original contributions to their particular fields of knowledge. The recipients of these degrees are prepared to assume positions of leadership in academia and in society. Chancellor May, I present the candidates for the doctoral degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I confer upon you the doctoral degree.
Will the candidates please be seated? Will the major professors of the recipients of the degrees Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy please bring their students forward as instructed by the ushers? Doctoral graduates are generally arranged on the floor alphabetically by the last name of their faculty presenter. This arrangement allows for all other graduates to be presented and walked to the stage with their chosen faculty member.
Alexander Reed Szyzeski, PhD in Horticulture and Agronomy, presented by Professor Qasim Al-Khatib. Nont Kosai Sawe, PhD in Biochemistry, Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology, presented by Professor John Albeck.
Cody James Carroll, PhD in Statistics, presented by Professor Ethan Andres. Andrew Blandino, PhD in Statistics, presented by Professor Alexander Awe. Yu Liu, PhD in Biostatistics, presented by Professor Hee-jung Bang. Heather Kathleen Hughes, PhD in Immunology, presented by Professor Andreas Baumler.
Lillian Fengdi Zhang, PhD in Immunology, presented by Professor Andreas Baumier.
Dane Michael Sturbins, PhD in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, presented by Professor Jean-Pierre Delplanque.
Abhishek Roy, PhD in Electrical and Computer Engineering, presented by Professor Prasant Mohapatra.
Bridget Austin Sparks, PhD in Sociology, presented by Professor Thomas Beamish.
Ma-yeon Suk Kim, PhD in Nutritional Biology, presented by Professor Brian Bennett. Phoebe Yam, PhD in Integrative Genetics and Genomics, presented by Professor Brian Bennett.
Rogelio Ernesto Zuniga Montanez, PhD in Civil and Environmental Engineering, presented by Professor Heather Bischel.
Lee Catherine Emrich, PhD in English, presented by Professor Gina Bloom.
Jacob Edward Cutter, PhD in Physics, presented by Professor Maxwell Chertok. Xianghui Liu, PhD in Entomology, presented by Professor Joanna Chiu. Chun Q Hui, PhD in Pharmacology and Toxicology, presented by Professor Gino Cortopassi.
Alexandra Marie Juergens, PhD in Physics, presented by Professor James Crutchfield.
Carmelo Osvaldo Miranda, EDD in Educational Leadership, presented by Professor Marcela Cuellar. Yvonne Teresa Allen, PhD in Education, presented by Professor Natalia Deeb Sosa. Ashley Sarpong, PhD in English, presented by Professor Francis Dolan. Christian Paul Hurd, PhD in Electrical and Computer Engineering, presented by Professor Sohail Chihasi Hafezi. Buorju Erzan, PhD in Electrical and Computer Engineering, presented by Professor Sravanti Chowdhury.
Daniel Fong, PhD in Electrical and Computer Engineering, presented by Professor Sohail Giassi Hafezi.
Yo Zan, PhD in Communication, presented by Professor Bo Feng. Dustin Kiskadan, PhD in Sociology, presented by Professor Laura Grindstaff. Rie Usawa, PhD in Plant Biology, presented by Professor John Harada.
Anthony Gong, PhD in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, presented by Professor Ronald Hess.
Rebecca Helen Hogue, PhD in English, presented by Professor Mark Jung.
Jessica Nicole Sanchez, PhD in Epidemiology, presented by Professor Christine Johnson. Maureen Burdock, PhD in Cultural Studies, recipient of the 2021 Alan G. Marr Award, presented by Professor Elizabeth Krimmer. Ronze Yu, PhD in Horticulture and Agronomy, presented by Professor Sahab Kurtaral. Shivani Bansal, PhD in Chemistry, presented by Professor Kit Lamb. Shabnam Jafari, PhD in Chemistry, presented by Professor Kit Lamb. Zongqi Jia, PhD in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, presented by Professor Xiongqiu Li. Matthew Earl Bates, PhD in Civil and Environmental Engineering, presented by Professor J. Lund.
Jonathan Scott Cohen, PhD in Civil and Environmental Engineering, presented by Professor J. Lund.
Ann Willis, PhD in Civil and Environmental Engineering, presented by Professor J. Lund.
Heshian Wang, PhD in Civil and Environmental Engineering, presented by Professor J. Lund.
Sean Lee Ming Noah, PhD in Psychology, presented by Professor George Mangan.
Annabelle Oi Ki Yu, PhD in Microbiology, presented by Professor Maria Marco.
Monica Keiko Liang, PhD in Epidemiology, presented by Professor James Marson.
Kai Lee, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, presented by Professor Laura Marque.
Yung Ao Xiong, PhD in Chemical Engineering, presented by Professor Karen McDonald.
Mark Cruz de Blois, PhD in Geology, presented by Professor Ryosuke Motani.
Tracy Joseph Thompson, PhD in Geology, presented by Professor Ryosuke Motani. Amin Itimadi, PhD in Computer Science, presented by Professor Michael Neff.
Krishna Kumar Singh, PhD in Computer Science, presented by Professor Michael Neff. Harrison Jesse Everett Smith, PhD in Computer Science, presented by Professor Michael Neff. Stuart Gordon Wilson, PhD in Soils and Biochemistry, presented by Professor Anthony O'Gean. Yu Liu, PhD in Chemical Engineering, presented by Professor Amit Palastoglu. Sayedeh Sheda Hosseini, PhD in Mechanical and Aeronautical Engineering, presented by Dr. Shashir Pandya. Jacqueline Woods, PhD in Biomedical Engineering, presented by Professor Alyssa Panich. Maria Lovchikova, PhD in Economics, presented by Professor Giovanni Perry.
David Patrick Earwicker, PhD in Education, presented by Professor Sarah Perrault. Benjamin Thomas Roycraft, PhD in Statistics, presented by Professor Wolfgang Polonik.
Nina Maria Fontana, PhD in Ecology, presented by Professor Daniel Potter.
Shannon Marie Scalos, PhD in Ecology, presented by Professor Daniel Potter. Lisa Marie Gonzalez, PhD in Linguistics, presented by Professor Vaidehi Ramanathan Abbott.
Gerardo Alcala Dyer, PhD in History, presented by Professor Andres Resendez.
Viridiana Hernandez, PhD in History, presented by Professor Andres Resendez. Logan Dale Hallstrom, PhD in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, presented by Professor Stephen Robinson. John Karasinski, PhD in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, presented by Professor Stephen Robinson. Gabrielle Singer, PhD in Ecology, presented by Professor Andrew Reipel.
Zoe Ying Liu, PhD in Linguistics, presented by Professor Kenji Sage.
Lauren P. Granillo, PhD in Epidemiology, presented by Professor Rebecca Schmidt. Wei-Di Zhu, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, presented by Professor Sabyasachi Sen.
Christine Demirjian, PhD in Chemistry, presented by Professor Jared Shaw.
Jisoo Simpson Han, PhD in Biochemistry, Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology, presented by Professor Sergei Simo Olivar.
Yu Hasagawa, PhD in Food Science, presented by Professor Carolyn Slupsky. Hannah Lee, PhD in Food Science, presented by Professor Carolyn Slupsky. Aidong Wang, PhD in Food Science, presented by Professor Carolyn Slupsky. Desiree Rose Langley, PhD in Native American Studies, presented by Professor Halia Sinachini.
Lydia Grace Palmer Minor, PhD in Biological Systems Engineering, presented by Professor Jean Vandergainst. Christopher Cody Lee Chen, PhD in Horticulture and Agronomy, presented by Professor Michael Walker.
Yesu Jiang, PhD in Chemistry, presented by Professor Li Ping Wang.
Carrie Schuyler Alexander, PhD in History, presented by Professor Lewis Warren.
Mario Perron, PhD in History, presented by Professor Lewis Warren.
Kristen McCarty, PhD in Sociology, presented by Professor Diane Wolfe.
Will only the candidates for the degree of Master of Science, Master of Arts, Master of Advanced Study, Master of Public Health, and Master of Engineering please rise and remain standing while the degrees are conferred. The recipients of the master's degrees have successfully completed their studies, scholarship, and research in respective disciplines. They are prepared for positions of responsibility in their particular fields of study, as well as for more advanced graduate work. Chancellor Gary, may I present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Science, Master of Arts, Master of Advanced Study, Master of Public Health, and Master of Engineering.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University, I confer upon you the master's degree.
Will the candidates please be seated? Will the recipients of the master's degrees please come forward as directed by the ushers? Master's graduates are generally arranged alphabetically by the name of their graduate programs.
Professor Jim Olchen, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Animal Biology. Christina Caitlin DiBernardo.
Colby L. Haas.
Professor Alireza Poureza, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Biological Systems Engineering. Kyle Han Chung. Adam James Polterak. Professor John Boone, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering.
Janani Ashwarya Arya.
Professor Matthew Ellis, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Chemical Engineering. Muruvet Ozge Bayoglu.
Antonia Jame Frazier.
Professor Miguel Javier Martello, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering.
Ravneet Kaur Dillon. Ivy Leslie Rivas.
Henry Wijaya. Professor Duncan Temple Lang, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Community Development, Forensic Science, and Horticulture and Agronomy.
Ali Hussein Kothawala.
Gustav Kirhigiri Kuma.
Joycelyn Mei Ong Yi. Ashley Kathleen Matzel.
Professor Julia Simon, presenting the recipients of the Master of Arts in Comparative Literature and French. Rashana Vikara Lidna. Professor Mohammed Sadogi Hamadani, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Computer Science. Anshi Agarwal. Ayushi Bansal. Zichin Chi. Kavish Doshi. Archit Garg. Shubhankar Gupta. Ishan Jain. Matthew Robert Cotilla. Sahana Pavan Mundewadi.
Shivani Thigala. Nikhil Wadhwa.
Sarmista Barujupali. Professor Margarita Jimenez Silva, presenting the recipients of the Master of Arts in Education. Sarah Catherine Butler. Emily Nicole Crowder. Yesenia L. Dueñas. Lynn Elisea Ayala.
Stephanie Ann Florin. Malika Chantel Meeks.
Nicole Elizabeth Morello. Ustad Sara Saida Opeyani. Kanwardeep Kaur Singh. Sydney Corinne Yee. Professor Juan Sebastian Gomez Diaz, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering.
Lin Xin Dong. Shan Liu.
Rasta Moinzadeh. Yuhua Pan. Sudarshan Ranganathan. Divya Singh.
Hyun Wang.
Professor Alyssa Kendall, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Energy Systems.
Alexander Servoy.
Professor Kate Scow, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in International Agricultural Development.
Lydia Mora Maranga.
Ana Maria Zepeda. Professor Bahram Ravani, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering.
Justin Garrett Busho.
Felicia Forlashade Farshadu.
Meng Jul Gao.
Felipe Valdez. Professor Elizabeth Middleton, presenting the recipients of the Master of Arts in Native American Studies. Neftali Concepcion Arceo.
Vivian Audrey Muller.
Professor Tucker Jones, presenting the recipients of the Master of Science in Physics. Alex Vogler. Professor Diana Cassidy, presenting the recipients of the Master of Public Health in Public Health. Priscilla Sue Huang.
Diego Robert Rivera.
Let me again offer my sincere congratulations to all of our degree recipients. In keeping with the time-honored tradition, I now invite you to move your tassels from the right side of your cap to the left side. Congratulations.
Will the audience please remain in place during the recessional by the stage party, faculty, and degree recipients. Thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon. The 2021 Commencement Convocation for Graduate Studies at the University of California, Davis is now closed. Will everyone please rise?
Thank you for attending commencement at UC Davis. Student gown return is located in the Arc Plaza near Pete's Coffee. Our next commencement ceremony will begin shortly. Please begin to make your way to the parking lots and travel safely to your next destination. Thank you for coming, and congratulations to all our graduates. Well.
So I do the deed, get up and leave, a climber and a sadist, yeah. Are you ready for the sequel? Ain't ready for the latest? In the garden of evil, I'm gonna be